Hello and welcome to All Top 5s. I've looked at several mythological creatures of Japanese origin in previous videos, but there are many monsters from Philippines folklore that are just as interesting and often frightening. Number 5. Nuno. The Nuno is depicted in stories as a tiny elderly man, usually with a long beard. Really, he is a goblin who is very protective of his home. The Nuno lives in a dirt mound, much like an anthill, and puts curses on anyone who might damage or defile it. It does this by spitting on the trespasser. If the Nuno spits on their feet, they will experience painful, aching, swollen feet after they leave. If they urinate on his house, they will develop swollen genitals. Other curses include a mass of hair growing on the invader's back, turning their urine black or causing them to throw up blood. Nasty. If a medical condition is untreatable by modern medicine, it's often considered that a Nuno has placed a curse on the patient. A special practitioner called an albulario carries out a traditional ceremony, melting candle wax into a spoon, pouring it into water, and reading the shape formed by the wax, thus informing their suggestions on how to dispel the curse. Usually, this healing process involves an offering of food, drink, or trinkets to the Nuno. Failing that, the patient can ask the Nuno's forgiveness, which usually works. As a last resort though, catching a Nuno and crushing its head is a surefire way to remove the curse, but it might incur the wrath of the Nuno's acquaintances. A Nuno's curse, if left uncured, will end up in a sort of demon possession, so dispelling it is important. Still, despite all of this, it's said that humans and the Nuno live peacefully as long as humans respect the Nuno's dwelling. Number 4. Sara Monarch. This one is a bit more positive. The name Sara Monarch is conjoined of two different words, sari meaning garment, usually very colourful, and manok, which means chicken. It's quite a humble name for so revered and beautiful a creature. It's a legendary bird from the mythology of the Manananggal people of the Philippines and is an omen of very, very good fortune. It's often depicted in artwork and has brightly coloured wings and a tail with an ornate fish or a scroll in its mouth, a beautiful leaf and spirals all over its head. Generally, the Sara Monarch is thought to be a totem that guides people to the spirit world. The origins of this Sara Monarch aren't clear, and there are several stories. One such legend tells of a sultan whose daughter one day came across a beautifully coloured rooster. This bird transformed into an extremely handsome man who swept the sultan's daughter away, never to be seen again. Ever after, the sultan would order that idols of this colourful bird, the Sara Monarch, be created so he would remember his daughter. The Sara Monarch is used in design, motifs, logos and coats of arms in the Philippines even to this day. Number 3. Aswang. One of the best known mythical creatures in the Philippines, the Aswang goes by many names across the country. This is fitting as it's a shapeshifter, and you can see why the Spanish colonists in the 16th century feared the Aswang so much. It's hard to describe a shapeshifter, obviously, but it usually resembles a regular, though shy, human during daylight. But by night, it can appear as any number of different animals, often a hideous dog-like form. It transforms in order to hunt its prey. The Aswang is deadly and can stalk its victims silently and quickly. Its shapeshifting allows it to hide in plain sight or in small gaps, and it can make a range of sounds to confuse its prey. The favourite food of the Aswang is the livers and hearts of young children, or, preferably, unborn fetuses. Some Aswangs have exceptionally long noses that they probe into a sleeping mother to suck the fetus from her womb. Yuck. In some stories, Aswangs may replace their victim's body with an effigy carved from wood. This doppelganger lives for a short time in the victim's place before it dies of unknown illnesses. It's said that you can tell an Aswang by its always bloodshot eyes, owing to the fact that it spends so much of the night awake. Additionally, if your reflection in their eyes is upside down, then they're probably an Aswang. One even stranger way of seeing through an Aswang's disguise is to bend over and look at the person through your legs. It's as creepy as it is weird. Number 2. Tikbalang. Although scary, this creature is fairly benevolent. The Tikbalang is said to dwell deep in the mountainous forests of the Philippines. It's depicted as very tall with long, thin arms and very long legs, the body of a human and the head and hooves of a horse. Sometimes, though, it's said to have arisen from the spirit of an aborted fetus. It enjoys scaring travellers and will play mischievous pranks on them to frustrate them. As this monster lives in the woods, the Tikbalang loves to wait under bridges for travellers who might threaten its kingdom. Usually it will lead the humans off their path and trick them into wasting their time, going round and round in circles and getting lost. It's said that a person can render the Tikbalang's tricks futile somehow by wearing their shirt inside out. You can avoid the Tikbalang altogether by just keeping quiet or by asking politely to pass it by. The Tikbalang isn't particularly dangerous to humans though, and it can even be tamed. According to some stories, subduing a Tikbalang requires jumping onto it with a rope, holding on as tight as you can as it thrashes about and waiting for it to tire out, becoming your servant. One other story states that if you can pull its 3 golden hairs out from hidden within its mane before it bites you to death, then it will also be tamed. Yeah, a truly bizarre version of a centaur in my opinion. Number 1. Manananggal. This monster is grotesque and difficult to say, and it's not unlike the Aswang in many ways. The Manananggal is a creature that loosely resembles a female human, but frightening and ugly, able to unfurl massive bat wings with which she flies. Another weird feature is that she can segment in half at will, separating her top half from her bottom half as she flies off. As with the Aswang, the favourite food of choice is unborn fetus hearts, which the Manananggal sucks out from the bellies of sleeping pregnant women. When she can't eat this, she will use her long proboscis to drink a sleeping person's blood instead, reminiscent of vampire behaviour. In fact, the vampiric similarities don't stop there. The Manananggal, although terrifying, has many weaknesses. According to the stories, they are repulsed by garlic, salt, light, vinegar, daggers, spices, and stingray tails. That's a lot of ways to get rid of this particular monster. The best way to use these weapons against the Manananggal is to wait for her to separate from her lower half. When she does, rub the garlic, salt, or whatever onto its standing torso, which then destroys it. The top half of the creature then can't reattach and, at daybreak, will die. There are quite a lot of films focusing on the Manananggal, and why not? It's got to be one of the scariest creatures from the folklore of the Philippines. And that's it from all top 5s for this week. As with Japanese folklore, stories from the Philippines contain many weird and wonderful creatures which I couldn't include here. Perhaps I'll revisit this topic again in the future. I'd love to know what you think of these 5, so please let me know in the comments. Just remember to be polite and considerate of others in the comments, because I love it when we all get along. If you've enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up button because it really does help me out. And if you liked this video, there's a damn good chance that you'll like the other videos I do as well. So there are lots you can find in my channel, or you can click on the subscribe button, and that will subscribe you to my channel, and I release a new video every single Tuesday. So peace and love to each and every one of you, and I'll see you all next time on All Top 5s.